Well, that report sets the tone for tonight's discussion. Let's start off by introducing our guests. I'd like to welcome to this program Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, is Minister of State, Agriculture and Food Security. Thanks for being here, Minister.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Nigerians.
We're also joined by Dr. Kingsley Uzoma, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Agribusiness and Productivity Enhancement. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Nigerians too.
And joining us tonight is Architect Kabir Ibrahim, his President, All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening, Nigerians.
All right. Green imperative. That's what it's all about tonight. And let's start off by finding out what this is all about from the start.
Thank you very much, Cyril, and a very good evening to all Nigerians. First, permit me to say congratulations to our dear President for the birth of this very, very important project. This project has been almost 6 years in the making, and it is one of the inherited projects from the last administration. And of course, like the President has always said, he inherited both asset and liability, and he is definitely going to pay attention to both sides of these two issues. And of course, we all know that he is passionately interested in transforming our food system so that we'll have sustainable food security. And so everything and all things that will make this possible are given more or less like frontal attention, and they are front-loaded. So the Green Imperative project, as designed, was given all the attention, and the midwifing was, done in the office of the Vice President, based on the Presidential Food System Coordinating Unit, which was, put in place by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to ensure that we're able to properly coordinate the entire effort of government towards having a sustainable food system. So the GIP, as it is designed to achieve three core objectives. First, it is designed to reduce our import bill. The food import bill in this country is definitely not sustainable, is high, and we believe, based on our natural potentials and, God-given land in this country, we should be able to do something to reduce that. And so this project is going to help us towards that direction. The second one is to also produce, that is to enhance the productivity of our farmers, so that at the end of the day, we are able to reduce the cost of production of food in the country, increasing the productivity of farmers and making them more competitive and productive. And then the third one is to ensure that the quality of food is given all attention, so that we are not just taking food, we are taking very nutritious food, we are taking food that will help you to maintain a very good, healthy, body. And so these three things are the core objectives of this program. But suffice it to say here that the project is going to come in phases. The phase one has $1.2 billion, and it is targeting at, identifying, appropriate, comparative and competitive, business line in terms of production, crop production, food, across the 774 local governments, so that at the end of the day, attention will be paid to it in a throughput manner, that is from beginning to the end, looking at production, processing, storage, marketing, consumption, everything. So this is, targeting the 774 local governments. And of course, in the course of doing that, a lot of things will be done. The equipment and technologies that we brought in will definitely be done in such a manner that if, for example, machineries are to be brought in, they will be brought in as, the TKO, that is totally knocked down, or is it TKD? Or is it completely CKDs? Yes, CKDs. completely knocked down, parts or semi-knocked down parts, where they will be assembled here in country. And in the process also, the plan is to put the country on a trajectory where at the end of the day, we are going to begin to see manufacturing of this equipment in country. So overall, this project is designed to be a game changer. And of course, it is going to join the bouquet of other agricultural mechanization programs that have been designed. The difference here is that this one has mechanization part, but it is all encompassing in terms of looking at production, looking at processing, looking at even logistics. Because it might interest you to understand that sometimes we talk about post-harvest losses, for example. Even the mode of transportation in the country is not appropriate for some of the food items that our people are consuming. So this project is designed to look holistically at all of this. So let me conclude before I yield the floor to my other guest by saying this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at all times is not just looking at solving the immediate concern and problems. In this case, for example, that he declared a state of emergency because our food security situation was a bit precarious, and that a lot of things were done since then, releasing grains, getting grains from producers, and those ones are the short-term, immediate, to bring succor, to bring relief. But his vision is one in which he speaks to one thing. How did we get here? What can we do to prevent a repeat? And I think the GIP is definitely falling in line with that kind of visioning. And that is why he gave it all the attention. And today, we're happy to sign the first part of the consultancy agreement where this project will begin its implementation.
All right, thank you so very much, Minister. Looking at the figures that you've churned out, more than $1 billion. That's a massive, massive amount of money. And we're talking here of just the first phase. So, but
remember,
yes,
Nigeria is a massive, massive country with a huge population.
Okay.
When you divide that, then you understand how much, whether we are putting our money where our mouth is. I think that's what the president wants to start doing.
All right. We'll save it and return to some of those issues later on. But easily, the three key things you mentioned here was a reduction of the food import, an increase in productivity, and again, you talk about quality, ensuring that what is produced is nutritious, has a high nutritional value. The president of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria is here with us. Easily, the first thing I'd say to you is how ambitious do you think this project is?
Well, it is quite ambitious, but doable. We've been following up this and hoping and praying for it to mature. From 2017, the issue of the GIP came up from there. And over time, the National Assembly didn't get it to be signed, all kinds of things. We are very grateful now and happy that it has at last been signed and it will be implemented.
National Assembly signed it.
No, this was signed, the 1.1.
The National Assembly, I was in the Senate then, we approved the borrowing plan for the GIP in 2022.
2021.
Is it 2021?
March
Yes, 2021. Yes, 2021.
March 2021.
So that is the role of the National Assembly, and that was done. So I think
At any rate, I'm not in the National Assembly.
So that's why we are giving the correct
As a farmer, what I know is that we were told that the thing remained to be signed before it was going to be implemented. Now, we saw the former PAMSEC of the ministry signing the MOU in Brazil. Today, we are being told that it will come on steam and it would permeate all the 774 local governments. It would come in farm machinery and it will ensure that good agricultural practice is used and good food will be produced, and that will feed the 230 million people of Nigeria and beyond. So we are very happy for it. We look forward to its proper and transparent implementation.
All right, let's go up to Kingsley Uzoma. And easily the discussion here about the whole thing, the whole concept having started in so many years ago. 2017, 2018, you got it through to the legislature in 2020, 2021. The question I would have here is, initially there was talk about a loan agreement. Now, is that still a component of this agreement? And if it is, aren't there worries about how this will be expended and what and how it will be repaid? Or has it changed?
Well, like Honorable Minister stated rightly, this is in phases. The first phase of any agreement is getting the borrowing mandate by the National Assembly and signing the MOU, which was signed. Now we're in the final phase, the consultancy agreement. And then this facility is structured to be financed by multiple financial institutions: Deutsche Bank, Brazil Development Bank or the Brazilian Bank, and some form from Islamic Development Bank. So the core of the agreement has been signed. So the next agreements are subsidiary agreements by Deutsche Bank. And in the first tranche, this will be spent in tranches. The first tranche is to be financed by Deutsche Bank, 150 million euros. So the agreement will be signed by Deutsche Bank, but it's syndicated under this GIP, a Brazilian government-Nigerian partnership. So in terms of payments, this is not like every other financial or loan packages to the country. This is private sector-driven model. What the federal government is providing, the sovereign guarantee of the federal government, the ultimate beneficiaries are the private sector agribusinesses. They will pay. The federal government has provided the sovereign guarantee, which is also ensured by the Islamic Corporation for Insurance of Investment and Export Credit in case of non-honoring of sovereign financial obligations to the tune of 95%. So principally, this is a model that should be implemented by all, because there is no room for failure. In each local government, this is structured also in the mechanization provision. You have two types: type 1, which will cover 632 local governments, and you have type 2, which will cover 142 local government, making it 774. So we are starting with type 1, the agricultural production mechanization, which finances mechanization for production activities, land clearing, plowing, harrowing, ridging, harvesters, all primary production activities. And the way it's structured is this: not just everybody will come and say, like a normal, the mentality that this is government largesse. No. You must prove financial and technical capacity to be able to. There are different selection criteria. And the financial criteria, let me hammer on that because you talked about the repayment.
Yes.
The financial criteria, I will give you one. That company must have a history of not having been bankrupt before. The individuals, the board members of the company has to be investigated. Also have to look at their technical competencies. Have they been involved in agricultural mechanization program? If you have not been involved and you have the financial capacity, then you have to partner with established farmer, established agricultural enterprises. Because when you don't have the financial capacity, or you have the financial capacity, you don't have the technical capacity, you must have the financial, under the financial sub-entities there is managerial, the rest of them, and then the technical capacity. So you must fuse the financial and technical capacity. And again, the service center location will not just be located that, oh, I'm from location A, put it there. No. There is also criteria for location of the service centers. You use different indicator criteria: access to market, nearness of water resources, roads, power supply, solar radiation profile of the area. So all these drivers, productivity drivers, has to align and optimize for that location to be selected. So your company will qualify. The next one, that's why we have this FGV consultancy agreement that has been signed. They will do all these things if the company has been qualified. The next phase of the pre-qualification is the site selection. Because if you're qualified and you are sited in a place where you cannot service farmers, where will you get the money to pay back? Because it's not the federal government that will pay back ultimately. Ultimately, it's the Nigerian companies that federal government has guaranteed this credit on their behalf that will take it up, that will pay. And there must be a collateral system. The central bank, National Collateral Register, the central bank will hold it until you pay before you not take full possession of these facilities that have been given to you.
Okay, so clear enough. You said, well, this probably act like a safety net, so it's not direct, not the kind of loan where we're expecting that this again will eat deep into Nigeria's reserves and payment. And we wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But going to the next phase, Minister, yes, the companies are there. They have to go through all the screening and prove that they have the wherewithal, the knowledge, and they're involved in agricultural activities. What I want to know is that those members who are registered under Architect Kabir's Farmers Association, small farmers, probably do not even have their own land, who have to even carry out agricultural activities on land that is, if you like, borrowed. How will this impact them?
Well, let me say there is space for everybody. It's an all-encompassing program. First, even though he has painted that, a picture of technical capacity and whatnot, it is also understood that these capacities are lacking. And so the project has provision for capacity building and development, systematically designed to ensure that both management capacity, that is managerial capacity to run agri enterprises, and then the skill set required for you to operate, whether at production level, processing level, or all other components of the value addition process within the value chain. All of it has been carefully identified. Now, what I will need to add here is the fact that this is not going to be an experiment. This is something that has already been tried and tested by this same consultants, the FGV. They are the ones responsible for the miracle that you see in the Brazilian agricultural landscape today. And remember, the reason why we choose Brazil is that we have similar agroclimatic conditions. The Cerrados in Brazil is what they call the savanna, and Nigeria has a lot of, almost all the savannas. Apart from the forest area, we have the Guinea savanna. You know, the Guinea savanna is into two, Southern Guinea, Northern Guinea. And it might interest you to know part of the Niger Delta also has, the Guinea savanna, because Delta State itself has provisions, Edo State, all those, they have, that is the Southern Guinea savanna actually. So there is space for everybody. And what is being planned in this program is that those farmers who you are talking about with respect to Architect Kabir, the small-scale farmers, they will all be handheld. There is hand-holding in terms of raising their good agricultural practice capacity, so that even if it's 0.2 hectares you have, the good agronomic practices that will be used will be taught to you, and you will be able, under your small plot, to produce exactly to specification, because there are also off-takers. There are aggregators who will be brought into the mix. That way, market is guaranteed. Because one of the problems has been that the farmers already have interest. They are already interested in farming. But what is their challenge? Certain other inputs, even the aspect of input. This project has provision to make sure that we're going to have the right input. Because no matter how good your land is, if you don't put the right input, there's a problem. If you have the right input, you don't have the right seed, there's a problem. So all of these things have been carefully crafted. And at the end of the day, these farmers will also be part of this show, medium-scale farmers, large-scale farmers. And remember, because we are doing it across 774 local governments, The peculiarity of each of these 774 local governments is where the farmers will fit in. So I want to assure Nigerians that, yes, this program is coming in, and of course, every single farmer that is definitely interested in farming will find value in participating in this particular program.
Can I also add a little
Yes,
on that?
please.
The smallholder farmers will benefit also, like the Honorable Minister had stated. This is a service center. That is service centers. Each local government is service center. So they provide mechanization service,
Service centers, yes.
input service, training service, extension services. So they will also employ graduates, train them as extension officers to sell extension services to these smallholder farmers who will not pay in cash, but they will pay in kind. They will also in the design, they also have a fair trade purchasing agreement with the farmers that that smallholder farmer does not necessarily need to have all the money or the inputs to do. What you need to have is one, the commitment and their own contribution, which is the space. So they provide a tractor, clear land for you, plow, harrow, plant for you, harvest for you, and provide you with seeds, chemicals, and even irrigation. At the end of the day, all this is at a predetermined and mutually agreed price, market competitive. So when you harvest, they will take the cost of their services for that resource poor smallholder farmer with produce. And the farmer will now have the remainder of the produce to either sell to them at a fair price agreed or carry it and sell on their own. So it's a win-win for the farmers.
All right, let's hear you.
Well, this is very good news. The only hang-up we have is that it is prudently done. And that's what we will monitor. And it's good that the ministry has found a model by making us part of the monitoring and evaluation. Yeah. So we sit here in our Babariga and tell our people all over the place to monitor carefully what is being done. If there are any hiccups, let them alert us. But the basic thing is, we are now coming to terms with reality. There is a very strong nexus between agribusiness and agricultural production. And now everything is going towards the farmer to get value for their produce. And that will incentivize them. And it's a very welcome development. And it's what will take us to the attainment of food security and for everybody to be prosperous.
Let me stay a little longer with you, given that you have a huge database of farmers who are with you. What is the level of sensitization, their involvement? No, there have been so many strategies in the past, and I'm sure you can reel them out for us here. But this has come in. So what is the level of sensitization and the understanding of your members? I'm not talking about those ones who already know a lot about mechanization and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm talking about small farmers, who look up to their association to lead them to, along the right path.
Well, I want you to go to the farmer now. Every farmer in Nigeria now knows that they are beginning to get value for what they produce. So everybody is sensitive, is sensitized to know the value of what they produce. Now, if there is any model to scale, to help them to scale that, they would welcome it. So that's why I said this is good news. All the farmers are looking up to survivability and being able to play at a very good level with everybody else in Nigeria. Now, to this extent, the farmers are asking us. Every day, people ask, when are we going to get these possibilities that you have been reeling out from a very long period? And no government has done better than this administration in opening new windows. There are many, many new windows. What we are saying is that we don't have a dearth of opportunities. What we have is a dearth or a near dearth of implementation. And now what we want to do is to monitor and ensure that these things are properly, transparently implemented. And the ministry has assured us of this. We know we have had the AgPE. The farmers are part of the monitoring and evaluation from all levels in all the 774 local governments. We got a letter, we transmitted these letters, it cascaded everywhere else. When this comes on board, we will do the same, and people will be awake, and they know the importance of making a good kill on agriculture now. The other time I came here, you were complaining all over that things in the market are very costly. The farmers, in most cases, are happier now because they are getting value for what they produce. But you should know that no one farmer produces everything that he or she wants. They also buy from the same market. So everybody will have their eyes wide open on these opportunities. So even if you don't know directly, somebody else will wake you up. Word of mouth, they say, even sells merchandise. So the opportunities are here. They are being reeled out. We have been hearing of them. Today, I think we've had them very well. Everybody will hear it, and I will tell everybody what the Honorable Minister and the SA have said, and what we have seen on TV, and we are happy with it. Therefore, we are looking forward to it, and we should learn to produce there round. We should be able to do this because there are opportunities. So many farm machineries are coming into this program. In fact, when we started looking at it, the analysis was that over 600 and something local governments will be part of it in the first instance. And by mere arithmetic, we envisage that every local government will have at least 10 tractors in the service center. And therefore, if you take my local government, for instance, the grain producing areas, if you deploy all these 10, for instance, they will be able to prepare the land and all that for so many number of people. And these people don't have to pay immediately. They will pay in kind. So these are services that are rendered, articulated, monitored, and the results will be seen. And whatever they produce will also get market. Instead of the farmer carrying whatever he or she produces to 200 kilometers to sell, they will be able to get fair price at the point of production. And that is the only way government will now stock its strategic grains reserve. Because whatever they are able to get from people who pay in kind will be taken to the strategic reserve when things are difficult. From the guaranteed minimum price, what we have learned is that when there is inflation like you have had recently, and the stock in the grains reserve is there, it will be brought out and it will cushion the effect of inflation. That is the purpose of it. And from CADEP, all the 4 pillars, the first pillar that the Umaru Yar'Adua administration tackled was the storage. We developed 1.3 million metric ton storage capacity. And most of it is there. Some of it has had to be concessioned because we couldn't fill it up. But with this, we will have enough. And then since we are looking at every region and every local government, the staples in my catchment, for instance, will be what the farmers will produce. Therefore, there will be real food security, because you need to look at food security from what is staple in a given location. If no matter the amount of a certain commodity you produce, if you take it to another region, it's not staple. Kingsley is from the southeast. If you give them, let's say, guinea corn there, at best they will use it to make beer. But then when you are looking at farmers from where he comes from, they will produce that which is staple there. So there will be food security in all regions. And you need global food security in a diversified nation like Nigeria. So this is a very good opportunity. We look forward to its implementation. And we hope to be there to monitor the implementation on behalf of the smallholder farmers, who will now become small-scale producers. And they will become medium-scale producers and large-scale producers. And the number of these small farmers will contract, so that we will be like the first world. In the United States, farmers are just 2% of the population. In Europe, they are just 3%. So not everybody will have to farm, but we will get employment from the processes of production. Like the minister said, the food system comprises of about 4 or 5 pillars: production, processing, distribution, marketing, and even consumption. So we are happy for it, and we look forward to its full implementation.
And just to add to farmer engagement, in the implementation protocol of the GIP as it's designed, the first point of implementation is public engagement, which is engagement of the farmers. So there will be a road show to different agricultural communities in the country. So after the public engagement, you now have the call for pre-qualifications. Then the people that are interested within that local government will send the expression of interest. After that, shortlisting and call for proposal, they will send the proposal, then selection and appointment, the service center. So the first point, so that this will be sustainable, is public engagement with the farmers, the major stakeholders, the AFAN.
Yeah, just to add up, because one of the issues is that as a system, we have also been preparing. And like the president of AFAN said, definitely in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, ever since we came on board with my brother, distinguished Senator Abubakar, he will attest to the fact that there is nothing we do that we don't call in the relevant sector of the farmers and even other people who necessarily are part of the value chain, stakeholders, not even because not only the farmers are part of the value chain. So we respect the fact that based on the value chain approach, which we have all, taken in the ministry, we have identified the role of the engagement, like Dr. Kingsley said. And I think the bottom line here is the fact that we want a bottom-up approach. That is why we're talking about 774 local government. Now, beyond that also, we believe that the system itself has put in place a very robust monitoring and evaluation framework. It's going to be web-based. Whatever is going to be done will be seen real-time, real-life on their website. And the database of participants, the farmers, which is talking about, will also be there. So there's a lot of, injection of transparency and accountability in the framework for implementation. So, and like I said, to ensure inclusivity, and by the way, inclusivity is one of the, 8-point agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have also taken note of the fact that there are segments of society or even, people who may be left behind. That element of inclusivity has also been captured, such that at the end of the day, everybody will be considered in terms of his contribution across the value chain, process. When it comes to processing, for example, and even the process of preparing food, those who are most in number. And so even if they don't have the capacity to ensure that they are included, that's why I told you that it's a very robust capacity building strategy or plan in this particular, arrangement. So that at the end, since you have the interest, your skill sets are not up to date, your competencies are not up to date, you will be brought, face to face with this reality, and intervention will be taken so that you will be prepared to be able to deliver on exactly not just the scale you are capable of, but also the quality that is expected in that arrangement.
Okay, well, I'd like to come to Dr. Kingsley Uzoma on the matter of this relationship between the companies and the beneficiary farmers. Who will be provided these services, and who you say will pay back in kind, not necessarily cash? And there, my main concern has to be with the insurance. Is there an insurance component in the case of default, poor harvest?
Yes, if you look at the key actors in this green imperative, one is the assembly plant operators, because these components will come in as completely knocked down parts, will be assembled in 6 assembly plants, 1 in each geopolitical zone. Then you have the service center operators. The last is local, commercial, development bank, central bank, and insurance companies. So any farmer that is operating within the scheme will have his or her own farm activity insured, because this is not only for crop farmers alone, you also have for livestock. In fact, 30% of it is supposed to go for the livestock value chain. So they will be insured. Secondly, the payment in kind or in cash is at the prerogative of the farmer. If the farmer has the money to pay for the services in cash, he pays. If he does not have the money to pay, he has the opportunity to still farm and still receive every service that rich farmer has gotten, but with a deferred payment upon harvest. That is where the insurance comes in. And then also, selling the produce is also at the prerogative of the farmer. That's why we say fair trade agreement with the service center operator. So if you feel what the service center is offering you is not market price competitive, you can sell and refund them the agreed price of the services they have rendered to you, mechanization and extension and inputs.
Fair agreements. I'm thinking here, the Farmers Association will be part of this, because, I mean, when you are determining what is fair between one who is empowered and one who's looking to benefit from a scheme.
I will give you, before you step in, I will give you, under this administration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, there's, like the Honorable Minister said, we have bouquet of different interventions. So that's the idea of exploiting the farmers may not really suffice very well in this circumstance, because you also have the special agro-industrial processing zone, where you also have something similar. And one of the limiting, when you look at the risk analysis of the SAPZ, is the input supply. So if the service center operator is not forthcoming, offering the price competitive price, you also have another competitor. That is also a big...
Yeah. I think the point to be made here is this. Remember, in this package, I told you there is also provision for appropriate input. And here the input, if you remember, I said cost reduction. The reason why we can talk about productivity or efficiency here is the fact that you are putting less to get more. Isn't it? That is the index. You put in little and you are getting
minimization
more.
And
so
maximization.
You want to maximize whatever resource use you are using. Now the point here is that the president is always concerned about one thing: how do you protect the farmers? In everything we do, that is the number one question he will ask. What is the mechanism for protecting the farmers? Here, like he said, there is engagement. There is community engagement and feedback. That community engagement and feedback mechanism is designed to make sure that nobody will take undue advantage of either what he thinks as the ignorance of the farmers. And this program is designed to cut out the middlemen who have always exploited the Nigerian farmer. You see, anytime we give support to Nigerian farmers and they produce, at the farm gate level, somebody takes the price and the farmer is a price taker. He has not been given the power to be able to dictate what the price is. But here, because there is already a pre-arranged engagement, everything about price setting will be done mutually with the producers and all the other actors. So when that is done, there is no way somebody will come and start changing the rules in the middle of the game.
All right, we have...
Just to add 1 minute again, the farmers, those smallholder farmers can also be service center operators through cooperatives. In Ghana, by this same FGV, Senegal, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, you'll find the smallholder farmers through the public engagement aggregating themselves as cooperatives and becoming that service center operator. So are the farmers going to cheat themselves? Can I cheat myself?
Oh, well, many of those who are watching this program now are also raising issues. We have Hussaini from Jos, who's ready to ask 1 or 2 questions here. Hussaini from Jos, if you're there, go ahead.
Yes, hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Go ahead, contribute.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Cyril. Yes, thank you, Mr. Cyril. My contribution is this. You see, a federal government, right from different governments that have come into being in this country, have been intervening in different aspects on agriculture, particularly livestock, food and otherwise, production and otherwise. The issue is that is the sincerity of purpose. That is the major problem we are having in this country. For instance, federal government has been giving money for the purchase of implement like things like tractors and various intervention. If you give tractors to people that are supposed to farm, when it comes to the hands of those people that are supposed to anchor those things, they will take those tractors, politicize the whole process. You will see a member of House of Assembly or a member of National Assembly that is not into farming. They will take those tractors, share it to themselves, well, allowing the local farmers without getting those implements. At the end of it, they will now take it, go and sell it to some people that are not even farming. Talk of fertilizer. If you go to some of the states, you realize that all the fertilizer that are being sent in billions and billions of...
Husseini, are you still there? Husseini? Oh dear, but he's made a point here, and which the minister will respond to. How do you ensure that this doesn't slip into what Husseini was talking about? Because we've seen so many.
And I want to congratulate Husseini for frankly speaking. I know you speak for so many people. But let me be very clear about this. For me, my integrity is something I don't joke with as a person. And in this government, the president is very, very clear. He has never mixed word with it. He's a man of integrity, and the highest political will ever in this sector, I think, has been given by this president in terms of the support he's giving to agriculture and why he wants to make intervention. Is the fact that he has a vision, as he has always said. He wants a country where no one goes to bed hungry. And I think that is what we are working for. And that's why we are talking about reducing the cost of production so that we have efficiency introduced. And the point you have raised, that is the old order. Right now, we are having 3 mechanization programs, including this one, the 4th one. But this one goes beyond the others, because it is a throughput project that has from beginning production down to the logistics and processing. Now, the point to be made here is that the green, what do they call it, Greener Hope mechanization program, the John Deere mechanization program, and the Belarus mechanization program are all designed to have that service center. So we keep talking about the local government. That is where the action point is. Unlike before, where things are done at the top, no, we are now going down to where the farmers are. That is where the action is going to be. And the model is that nobody is going to be given tractor in the manner that this thing is being done before. The programs are designed as government-enabled, but private sector-led. And because they are private sector-led, they are not going to take their tractor and just give it to you like a luggage, as he has said. The idea here is to bring these services as close to the farmer as it is possible. We know the local farmer having half an hectare or 1 hectare cannot afford to buy a tractor that is 30 million, 40 million. But if it is available at the service center, we are young Nigerians, we have a lot of agric engineers, young Nigerians who will be asked to come and manage these centers like he has tried to explain before. Now, they are the ones who are going to be there for you. And in fact, like the Belarus and even the John Deere, they have provision, software provision, because we are now in a digital world where anywhere these tractors are, they can actually see it in their database. So it's not something that is going to be thrown at anybody. And I want to assure the caller, is it Hassan, and all Nigerian, Husseini, and all Nigerian farmers, including their president here, that we, on our honor, are not going to allow Nigerian farmers to be shortchanged. In fact, the president will agree with us that he knows since we came on board, our concern is who are the genuine farmers? Who are the genuine farmers? Because we are aware of people who don't own farms, but when these programs are brought in the past, they come around and hobnob with the process, pretend to be farmers, and take away everything that has been given. And at the end of the day, leaving the farmers dry, like the caller has said. These programs are designed to take away all of these things because we have learned our lesson, and we know if we have to have a sustainable food transformation system in this country, then we must ensure services are provided to Nigerian farmers as at when they need it, in the best form they need it, but most importantly, to also realize that the farmers need to be supported by capacity building. And like I said, this program is very big and robust in training, because the reason why our farmers are not able to meet up to is the good agricultural practices which the president talked about earlier. And if they have to be given training and retraining and retraining, they can do a very fantastic job of production. And that is what we intend to do.
Fine. We have another caller on the line. Ade calling in from Abuja here. Hello, Ade, go ahead. Your question or comment? Okay. All right, we lost that call, right? Ade, just try and call back in. And, well, extending it further, I'm sure the Farmers Association president can testify that a number of strategies in the past had suffered the same fate that Husseini talked about. And so from the aspect, the perspective of the farmer, what would you be bringing in now to ensure that your members are not shortchanged this time around?
See, the beauty of this plan is that this will be taken to the grassroots. Agriculture does not take place here in Abuja. It is a rural vocation. And if these services are going to be there with the farmers, only farmers will benefit, true real farmers. Middlemen may not be able to participate if the real farmers and the leaders of the farmers are there, are involved in the implementation. Now, I was itching to answer so many things that came up in terms of shortchanging or for the farmers to renege in paying or in selling to people who help them to do it. There is a mechanism that has been in place from 2008, but it is almost moribund now. It is called the guaranteed minimum price. The government must bring that up and ensure that it works, so that a farmer will sell at a good price to be able to go back the following year to produce it, so that you have sustainable food security. This is what happens even in Brazil. About 20 years ago, Brazil was just like us. You know, when I was president of Poultry Association of Nigeria, we looked at Brazil as a developing nation, not where it is today. If this worked there, and with all the similarities that we have, if it is properly implemented here and monitored closely, I see that we will get good results. And I hope that we get results in our lifetimes. Yeah. It's work in progress. Yeah. We don't expect it next year, everybody will be happy. But it is work in progress, and it is well put. The footprints are well put, and the thing will just continue, and it will just go like that. It will get the optimum push, and everybody will be there for it. But again, what the Nigerian people should do, and even our leaders, we should be able to make sure that whatever we do or say, people believe it. I mean, if we have distrust, even from government actions, then we have a problem.
All right, we're fast running out of time, so Minister, you might just round off now as we conclude.
I just want to put it to you that there is a lot of work currently going on looking at this.
Okay.
And I want to assure you that a good news
Are we still taking a call from Lagos? Right. Latif from Lagos, You probably would be the last calling in on this topic. Latif from Lagos, can we hear you quickly so that we can get the response before we wind down? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Please, sir, I'd like to ask some questions like what are your provisions for the graduates that are unemployed presently for Nigerians?
Okay.
The unemployed graduates that are not employed presently now, what are your plans for them to engage them in this your provisions?
Thank you very much for that very beautiful question. One of the pillars of the 8 Renewed Hope agenda is the fact that job creation is one of the very core component and economic growth. And if you look at the design of this program, it is designed to achieve both, including the food security, including the inclusivity, and even access to capital. Now, in answer to your question directly, in each of these 774 local government areas, that is the agro service centers, ASCs, will be run by young Nigerians who will be asked to, they will be supported to form themselves in groups that will be able to take this on. In each of these groups, there will be managers, there will be those who will do the administration, there will be technical people, that is the agric engineers, there will be agronomists and all the others. So it's going to be a collection of people. And then remember also in this, like Dr. Kingsley was trying to explain earlier, cooperative societies will also be encouraged to go into production where they will be supported in all of this. So for us, as far as we are concerned, this program is designed to make the young Nigerians see agriculture as a business, not one in which you'll be carrying hoe and cutlass. That is not what we're looking at. This is going to be an agribusiness-oriented project where mechanization, best-in-class mechanization that will enhance productivity of that operation will be from production, processing, distribution, logistics, and even consumption. All of these things are going to be captured, and there is robust training capacity so that if you desire, based on your expression of interest, there is provision for you to be trained based on global best practice, as has been tried and tested in Brazil, for example, and many other locations.
We'll have to leave this conversation here. We'll run out of time.
This program is designed to actually empower the youths, the graduates. It's supposed to create 2.3 million jobs in the first 4 years, and in the 10 years, 5.9 million jobs. And more than half of the jobs expected to be created from these projects are for the young graduates. Go and read, you can Google and read the project appraisal documents and look at the employment numbers.
Thank you very much for coming on this program. The Green Imperative Project, that's what we've been talking about with Senator Aliyu S, Abdullahi, Minister of State Agriculture and Food Security. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
And Architect Kabir Ibrahim, President, All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
And Dr. Kingsley Uzoma, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Agribusiness and Productivity Enhancement. Thank you for being here.